What is up, guys? You know the vibes. It's VS Rides back at it again with another one. My name is Ethan Benson. I am your host, and as you can see, we have a very familiar face. But before I say his name, guys, let me just tell you who this man is. He just said off camera that it's nothing on the screen, but to me, as a person from the southern suburbs, I'm telling you, this means something. 60,000 subscribers, 557 videos with a total of 13.6 million views. Now, I don't know on what planet you are, but 13.6 million views. If you have uploaded a YouTube video and you look at that view count and you watch it, you would understand that 13.6 million views is something. This man has started YouTube in the 30th, or he has registered the account on the 30th of March 2015. This was at the time that you were weird for holding a camera to your face. People didn't get like what you were quite doing. But this man has continued and he has surpassed anything that I've ever seen as an individual in the car scene. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the one person behind us, your hands and mine for Mr. Niaz LibeRebil.
Oh, word.
I must give you your flowers, bro,
Wow.
because honestly, like, I don't do research on people. I'm not the person I'm just the cinematic man, but I can recognize hard work and I can recognize someone that has a mission.
Thank you.
So, Niaz, I just wanted to give you your flowers first of all, because I don't know what you're talking about. 30.6 million views, I cannot think about that number right now. But welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
Welcome.
for having me on your podcast and YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's weird. Eh? Like, I was just like, 2022, boom, here we go, podcast, YouTube channel, let's get it going. Niaz, I actually want to play an icebreaker game with you.
Okay.
Just to see the honesty. Those that know you will know you.
Okay.
But it's more about cars, so don't worry about
cool.
it. Lamborghini or Audi? I know it's the same type of thing, but that's why I'm asking. If you had to have a supercar, would you take the R8 because it is in your email?
Yeah.
Or would you have the Huracan?
Alright.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Why would you spend like 3 bar more on exactly the same car?
See, he's a motoring journalist,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. Okay. If you were in a rush,
Uh-huh.
disabled bay or double park?
Disabled bay.
Have you driven a Porsche before? Just asking.
I have.
Okay, so manual, PVK or DCT?
PDK.
PDK. Ooh, my mistake.
Mm.
Mexico or Mexico?
Mexico.
Spin car or drift car?
Drift car.
Supercharged or twin turbo? Remember, you did talk about the track hawkness, so that's why I have to.
Supercharged.
Supercharged. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're gonna get to the questions. This isn't gonna be a very long thing. It's just like I have this man, and I do not want to waste his time. I might link up with him later. I am treating him with delicacy because, to me, in our community, we don't often give people their flowers. We often look at what they're doing wrong and we try to put a volume behind what they're doing wrong instead of complimenting and supporting the people that are trying to do something different. So
That's so right.
so I'm just here to give you your flowers, bro. When you started YouTube, was the plan to, like, did you have a plan or was it just fun? Let's go.
Not at all. When I started YouTube, it was a fitness channel. Quirky channel based on my current favorite YouTube channel at the time, which was Smosh. So I pulled a lot of inspiration from Smosh and from people like Joe Sugg, Casper Lee, and stuff like that, because I wanted to do a very comedic take on YouTube. And that's why I started it off with a friend. And those are the things we experimented in. Cars was just something that I was like, flip, if this isn't going to work in comedic stuff, because it wasn't something I thought would work. I'm like, let me just turn it into cars because I love cars. It's a passion for me.
Okay, dope. So when was that turning point for you when you were like, you know what, this YouTube thing, it might actually be something? Like, when did you decide, okay, cool, I'm gunning it now for this thing?
I think when I got my first campaign, like paid work on the channel, I was like, whoa, you can actually make money from this. And I was like, it'd be great to turn my passion into my career. And that was the moment I was like, right, let's push it. Let's see how far I can actually push this now.
And you have pushed it because, like Cherio said from cars, like besides you, I can't name another individual without campaign, like without corporate backing.
Yeah.
That's this big. And like looking at you, so like, I don't like when people talk bad about you. I'm like, this guy, like his energy is humble, ladies and gentlemen. Like he's just so easy to work with. I was like, Niaz, what is it that I need to do to get you here? And he was just like, just tell me the time and place.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. Like, I know people with 20 subs that are more arrogant than this, man. So, yes, thank you for that.
Pleasure, man.
The next question I want to ask you is that, when did you actually, like, start prioritizing YouTube? Like, in a sense of, like, when did you start making sacrifices for this thing? Because, obviously, I know you and your brother had a shop. And when did you decide, you know what, I need to focus on myself and this brand?
I definitely think when I was in the shop, because being in Bonteville, it's horrible. You know, gangsterism there is really bad. I used to wake up in the morning with a knot in my stomach to go to work because I was afraid. My brother, the same thing. I lost my hair. Things got really bad. Gangsterism in that place was catastrophic, and it really did a number on me. And it's what made me as hateful as I am towards anything drugs and alcohol. And I know I'm not supposed to like judge people who, I don't know, who has fun with those kind of things, but it just makes me judge them and not like the situation. But because of what I've been through in it, and I think it was at that moment that I was like, if LibeRebil don't work, I don't really have anywhere else because my parents didn't have the financial backing to send me to college. Neither did I. I had to work multiple jobs.
And how old were you at this time?
I was... Okay,
Sorry to ask your age.
This was before LibeRebil. This was like... I started that shop when I was like 19, 20. So, yeah.
Sure. Okay, so 19, 20. So you making these crazy decisions at 19, 20, and a few years later, like hindsight now, would you still have made those decisions? Do you think that there was an easier way to get to where you are now?
Not at all. Every option that I had to make every choice I had to make, there wasn't an option. It was something I had to do. In our communities, you don't get something as an option. You either make work what's there and make magic from it, or reach something impossible that doesn't exist.
So basically, from a young age, you were just like, you know what? It is what it is. This is the cards I was dealt, and this is how I'm gonna proceed.
Play it, yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me just get to this next question. This guy. I'm telling you guys, I'm not as professional as this man, but I'm trying my utmost. Yeah. Sorry. Locally, who inspired you in the automotive scene?
Locally.
Because I know you obviously had inspiration from your fitness channel and that things, but as a car scene...
That's such a good question because I don't have any inspiration for my local reason why I love cars so much. I have to say my family, my dad and my mom, because they're big on cars. But what really made the turning point for me with cars is a YouTube channel called Dude in Blue. He's one of my favorite automotive YouTubers, and then another one called Max Tuning. I'm obsessed with their content. But I think South Africa, I didn't like the South African car scene because of how gritty it was. Everyone was very competitive. People were fighting. Like there's Nissan camps, there's Honda camps, there's your German camps, and no one like people struggled to play with each other when I was growing up. And I didn't like it. It was like, no, this isn't for me, because I like everything Renault, Peugeot, Volvo.
Yeah, you're not like really a biased person. Like that's the one thing I noticed about you.
Yeah.
You like all cars, and if you don't like a car, you will find something to like about the car. And I think that's what made me respect you as a journalist, because you're the first person to call out sound systems. I can tell you that for a fact.
Story of my life.
Like I remember watching your videos back there, and I wanted to ask you, why did you stop reviewing speakers and sound systems?
It didn't fit in what I wanted to do, and if I wanted to isolate my audience and push forward with that audience and grow that and cultivate that audience, I had to focus the channel. Like I would like to expand on that, but unfortunately now to expand, you need funding.
Yeah.
You're not a European or an American YouTuber that's got this big corporate backing where they can buy a new car every 6 months. I don't have that luxury. So
And yeah, it's like, just like for people that might be watching and stuff, like businesses and those type of things, why do you think it is so important to invest in someone with 30 million views?
yeah, it's such a difficult question. Businesses don't see the value of YouTube, and especially in our community, people just don't want to pay. So to find people willing, like when I go to people and say, "Hey, my channel's available for you to put an ad on it," and they're like, what's the costing of this? I'm like, well, you're looking at about a 60,000 subscriber channel. Each video will do like 20,000 views plus with the right backing. And they're like, oh, is that like 1,500 rand? And I'm like, then they're like, oh yeah, but if you do 6 1,500 rand videos.
So they want to add it up.
So I'm like, but if you do 6, I only do 8 videos a month. And you do know it costs well over like 9K.
And now they're asking for like ownership of your channel for.
Yes.
And they still want to pay you 1,000 for it. And I feel like, you know what, like most of these businesses that do look for advertising have never actually see how much advertising costs, because think about it, like there's Instagram influencers, right, that have millions and millions of followers. For them to put out the advert, it guarantees you the amount of eyes that they say they're going to guarantee you. That's a better play than TV. You can pay a TV advertising company, put your brand on there. Not everyone's going to see it. But if you're advertising car things and you give it to Niaz, I mean, who knows cars without Niaz, basically.
Exactly.
So it's just crazy to see, like, or hear you saying that you're struggling.
Dude, I was looking for financial backing in the last 6 weeks of LibeRebil, and I called a friend, and he's like, wait, tell me again, why? How are you struggling? He's like, you LibeRebil, like, isn't people supposed to be throwing at you? I'm like, no, dude.
But that's the thing, even looking from outside, and like, I don't always want to call it like our community and the past and all these things, but when I look at it, it's like, this guy has done so much. Like, I don't know, like, is there a checklist that you have to still tick? Because it was also my or maybe I felt too entitled, because you know what they say about the younger generation, you feel entitled. Maybe I was part of them, where I felt like I was working so hard that it has to get to somewhere. So for our viewers and stuff, tell us, how does it feel to always having to deliver that content and keep pushing in hope that something is gonna break or something is gonna shift?
Very difficult to maintain the motivational momentum, to keep that videos coming on a weekly basis, and knowing that there's not much gonna come out of it is really difficult. You've probably seen I've slacked down a lot on how much content I put up on the channel. It's gonna start start of Feb. The content will be up and running like full swing, but I need this December, January, I needed just time for myself to mentally prepare myself for what I want to push the channel to this year. So yeah, it's difficult, to keep that momentum forward is something I've really struggled with.
So can you tell us, like, the last 2 questions, how was your first launch?
My first launch was from Volvo.
Hey.
I'll never forget the PR. She was so sweet. She gave me opportunity in Volvo. And I just remember being very out because YouTube at the time, it was only me and Chiro that were YouTubers. And Cars at Koza wasn't present at the launch. It was just me. And everyone was like, oh, who are you? What do you do? And I could see the snarls and like eye rolling.
Yeah. Like, how did you get here?
Yeah. And now I'm at majority of the launches, besides Porsche. And
but why are you not in supercars yet, bro? Like,
I don't know.
Like,
I've tried.
Like, I'm looking into people that are getting the supercars. No disrespect, guys. I know you guys worked hard, but Niaz is Niaz. So I've seen people get Porsches and these like the M8s. I don't know if you had the M8.
I took a BMW, but it's just Porsche. I think it's a matter of patience and a matter of when they see they're happy with my content and when they want to reach out, I think it will be then.
I don't understand, like, what more should you do is basically what I'm asking.
Yeah.
What do you feel like you need to do for Porsche to give that stamp?
Honestly, I really don't know. My content speaks for itself. As a personality, I try and remain humble and I try and remain positive and a good person. I think at the end of the day, you can only just be patient. And I never allow what I've built and what I've become to give me pride and to say, oh, because that's so much, I think I should be. I never give myself that privilege because I don't think that's right. And people who do, I feel sorry for them because they feel like because I've accomplished this, I should be allowed in, and it's not the case.
And that's where I've made that mistake. Like, I can own up to. See, that's the thing. Like, I can own up to my mistakes because once I start to own up to my mistakes, I can move past my mistakes. So that's what I'm saying. Like, just watching you, like, you are careful. I don't like.
Yeah.
I've seen social media people. Would you consider yourself an influencer?
I would. Look. If I buy a Porsche one day, and which is my dream, 2022, 2023, and I still haven't been to a Porsche event, then I admit I'll be like, and if I do get invited afterwards, it's gonna sting. Because then it's gonna feel like
you had to spend to get in.
Yeah, and then I'll most likely, and I'll be quite frank, I'll most likely not want to attend.
But
things.
you know what? Just to close, like, the one thing I can say about you I don't know if I am allowed to speak for the community. Who am I? But like, one thing about you is we can trust when you say that there's something dodgy happening here. You know what I mean? Like, I actually trust you when you give those small little things. Like, it's not to badmouth anyone, but you say, hey, this is might be bad business, or this, like, you are someone that we can actually respect because, like I said earlier in the top of this interview, you call out sound systems, you call out bad manufacturers, you call out default, like, you just call out things. Why do you think other journalists do not do it? And do you think by not doing it that they are playing some sort of game?
I think it's brownie points from PRs and manufacturers. I have become quite a big fan of Volkswagen. I love what they do and I love how they do it in South
Shout
Africa.
out to Sia.
Yeah, it's there's something about the way VW handles the clientele. They know that we love fast cars.
Because I know you're the only one that, like, you actually mentioned the PR. Like, you are very aware not to mention someone's name when you don't think that they weren't. So when I see you giving this love to this VW PR, it's like, okay, they're handling you correctly.
Yeah, like, they get that we love GTI. They get that we love the modified car scene. And they're not afraid to play on it in their campaigns. And that's what I really, really adore about them. BMW the same. Hailey just has this really nice way of, working with you. She, like, before she sent out the M5, she was like, we need to make sure the M Performance is exhaust sounding. You guys must drive it to the M Performance. Because they got us as car guys. They get the market that's buying the vehicle. And I love seeing that from manufacturers.
Who are a lot more respectable when it comes to driving other people's cars. Have you had an incident that made you more respectable? Or
I grew up in a home that taught me to respect my things. And I don't want to treat someone else's car with disrespect. I want to treat it the way I would treat mine. Close the door softly. Move over the bolster when you climb into the vehicle. Ask to adjust the seat. Like, there's just a few things you do that I think is good when driving another person's vehicle, because they're trusting you, they're putting fuel in the vehicle, they're giving you the time with the car. So, yeah, I've just built this really good way of handling people's vehicles, and I think there's the pride and joy. In the same way I want someone to treat my Mercedes. If I give them the car to drive.
I thought you're going to give that key to anyone.
I actually am. So there's this other YouTuber that popped up now that's going to do a video on the car. And then, there's a lot of other YouTubers that I have so much respect for. I think Late Customs.
Yeah.
So, believe it or not, Shane and I had a meeting before, like, everything. Before he became the YouTuber he's now. Because he's kind of rivaling me. And he's so different to what I do. And I told him, like, the information I gave him, he used, and I'm not taking credit obviously for his success. He actually put what I told him into practice, and in the same way I learned from him as well what he spoke to me about what he was going through, because we were both in the same position back then.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. This was a vibe, the camera just died. But yeah, hopefully the audio is still going. So this was a vibe, Niaz. I do just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Like people can attest, I do not do interviews with people that I've never done interviews with anyone because I've always felt like I'm the guy. I need to be interviewed, So being humble and watching you grow, I've learned to respect, like I told you off camera, like I wasn't your biggest fan when you started. I don't want people to come after me and say, now you're interviewing the guy now because he's there. It's growth, ladies and gentlemen. You learn, you can forgive yourself, you say sorry to the person, and you keep it moving. So moving forward, I just want everyone, when you see this man, just understand that he's not for play. He's one of the greatest. So thank you so much, Niaz, for doing this interview.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. And all the best to you in your future.
Thanks, bro. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.